For this problem, we are looking for the equilibrium index of an array, which is the index at which the sum of elements of the lower indexes is equal to the sum of elements at the higher indexes. So I've gone ahead and declared our array, and we want to find the point at which the lower indexes has a sum that equals the higher indexes. You might be able to see what it is already, but we want code. So I'm going to actually declare this variable equilibrium. I find that it works best when put into a function, so I'm going to let this variable be defined as a function that takes in the array as a parameter or as an argument. And here we're going to declare a const called total. And total is going to be using the reduce method to just find the total of the array, period. So we just want to know what everything in the array adds up to. And this method is going to help us do that by quickly adding everything. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to declare another variable called left sum, which will be initialized as 0. And this is going to keep track of the sum of the indexes to the left. So from here, we're going to start our for loop as usual. And increment on every turn. So here we're going to declare our right sum, which is going to equal our total minus our left sum minus array at index of I. And then we're going to have an if statement here where if our left sum ever equals our right sum, we're going to return whatever I is in that moment. And then we're also going to be defining our left sum with every iteration, and it's just going to equal itself plus array at index of I. And we'll see how this works in just a moment. And if we never find it, then we'll just return -1. And then close our function. To be able to see our answer, we're going to want to call our function, so we'll just console log first. and call our function with the argument of array. Okay, so let's walk through this real quick just so that we can see that everything worked correctly. We're keeping track of a few things: total, right sum, and left sum. So to start with, left sum equals 0. Right sum is going to equal total, which if we look up here, add these together, I already did it beforehand, it equals 0 too. So right sum is going to equal 0 minus 0 minus array at index of I, which is -7. So right sum is going to be 0 minus -7, which is going to be +7. And we'll leave it there. The next iteration, first, in this first iteration, left sum is going to equal itself, which is 0, plus array at index of I, which is -7. So it's going to equal -7 now. And in the next iteration, we're looking at index of 1. I is going to equal 1. Right sum is going to equal total, which is still 0, minus left sum, which is now -7, so it's going to be +7, minus array at index of I, which is 1. So it's going to equal 6. And left sum is going to equal itself, which is -7, plus array at index of I, which is 1, which will mean it equals -6. Then on the next iteration, I is equal to 2. We're going to be looking at index of 2, which is 5. Total still equals 0. Right sum is going to equal 0 minus the left sum, which is -6. So it's going to be +6, minus array at index of I, which is 5. So right sum is going to equal 6 minus 5. And then left sum is going to equal itself, which is -6, plus the current index, which is 5, so it'll equal -1. And then on the next iteration, which is going to be at index of 3, we're going to be looking at the index of 3, I equals 3. So right sum, total, which is 0, minus left sum. Left sum at this point equals -1, so it's going to be +1 minus 2. So now right sum is going to equal -1. And we would go through and change the definition of left sum, but first we have our if statement. And our if statement is checking if our left sum equals our right sum. So at this point, our left sum and right sum are equal to each other. And we will return I, which is the index at which this happened. So we'll be returning, our console will log 3. And the time complexity on this is going to be, It would be a 0 of n. Since we used a reduce method and we only had one for loop, it will be 0 of n.